Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Welcome to another episode of the Prolific Perspectives podcast. Today, I have the opportunity to be interviewing a very special guest who works for the Hillsborough County Small and Minority Business Enterprise Programs. And so, Mr. Ken Jones, welcome to the program. I appreciate you taking the time to join us today, Mr. Jones.
Well, thank you, Mr. Polite. I appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's an honor and a pleasure. So in terms of what your company offers for minority business owners and entrepreneurs, can you kind of share a little bit about some of the benefits that you guys offer for small businesses and minority owned businesses?
Yeah, definitely. So here at the county's MBE and SBE office, and the MBE stands for Minority Women-Owned Business Enterprises and SBE for Small Business Enterprises. Our primary goal is to make sure that minority women-owned and small businesses get a fair opportunity at contracts, goods, and services that the county buys. So basically, the things that the county buys, if we have minority women and small business owners that provide those goods and services, we want to do a couple of things. We want to make sure that they are registered with us and certified with us. And by virtue of that, we know they're in business. Because if you're not certified with us, it's kind of like if you don't introduce yourself and I don't meet you, I don't know about you. I don't know of you. So we want them to become certified with us. That way they're in our database. We know about them. We connect them to the procurement department. And for things that the county is going to buy, they will be notified and say, hey, this is something the county is looking at buying. Are you interested in submitting a bid and being responsive to it? So we want to make sure that they know of the opportunities for competitive bid procurements that the county has.
Gotcha. Now, how does the office go about making sure or helping business owners navigate through the certification process? Is there like a tutorial or some type of class or training online, or how do we go about finding how we can get registered and how to complete the process with you guys?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So that's like if you're inviting somebody to dinner, you got to give them directions, right?
Right.
So they know how to get there.
Right.
So our process is all online, and we have two certification specialists, and their primary roles are to help businesses become certified, go through that process, review their application, and make sure that everything is in line for them to be approved for it. So they can go to our website again. It's all online. It's at Hillsborough County, and of course now I'm mentioning it. I can't find the email address in front of me. So give me a couple seconds or minutes, and I will come back to it. But I don't want to hold us up on that point for me not having it in front of me. That's my bad. I apologize for that.
Oh, no.
But what they can do is go to our online portal, start the application process. Our certification specialist will see it and reach out to them and just help facilitate that process. So it's a matter of submitting documentation online, verifying that not only are you in business, but that you are a minority or you're a woman-owned business or you meet the criteria for a small business for our program. So we do want to make sure that we verify and validate the businesses that we are working with, because we want to make sure that they're legit. Because on our side, we want to make sure that when they get a business opportunity, they're going to be able to deliver on it. And at the end of the day, be a success on that contract and hopefully lead to other contracts.
Right. Absolutely. And that's no problem with the site. I'll have the website address located and put it in the description of the show as well on the
All right, thank you.
No problem. And so now with that, are there any particular requirements that a business owner would have to meet in terms of being able to qualify besides having a fully legally structured business entity?
Yeah, so there's a couple. I won't get into all of them because there's a handful, but I'll get into the key ones. So for a minority or woman-owned business, the business has to be at least 51% owned, managed, and controlled by a minority or a woman.
Gotcha.
And then they must all be legal residents of Florida. The business must be located in Florida, headquartered in Florida, and they have to be currently doing business. And then there's a business net worth. So the business net worth cannot be more than $4 million for non-construction. If it is a construction-related business, then the net worth of the business cannot be more than $5 million. And they must have 50 or fewer full-time employees. So that's on the minority and women-owned business side. On the small business side, they must be registered to do business in Florida, and they must be principally domiciled or headquartered here in Hillsborough County, Pasco, Pinellas, or Hernando County. So basically in the Tampa Bay community. Also have less than 50 full-time employees, and an annual gross sales over a 3-year period, not more than $5 million. So those are the basic parameters. Again, if it's a minority or woman-owned certified, they have to own at least 51% of the business, can be located anywhere in the state of Florida. And then the small business is in the local Tampa Bay community of those 4 counties, Hillsborough, Pinellas, Pasco, and Hernando.
Gotcha. And I know I was at a networking event not too long ago, and I've heard that the process has gotten a little bit more I would say it's a little bit more it's being monitored more because I believe there were some people who were taking advantage of the opportunity, and they weren't legitimate, small minority-owned businesses or women-owned businesses. So now, I guess to get certified, it's going to take a little bit more verification, throughout the due diligence process for you guys, based off of people taking advantage of the opportunity when they weren't truly, I guess, minorities, or owning these businesses that were taking advantage of some of the certifications. So as far as that's concerned, does that kind of play a role into the process in terms of how long it takes to get certified, and what would be the typical turnaround time for a new business owner who's going to go for the certification in the certification process?
Yeah, that's a great question, Andre, and a great segue into the first point you made, is verifying that these are minority or women-owned businesses. And so that's part of it. As we go actually through that process, and we'll call a business owner, and we want to make sure that they are running the business, they know the business, and it's not just a shell and a pass-through for somebody else.
Right.
And that has happened very nominal number of times. But when we see it, we're not going to say that and acknowledge and certify that as a minority or woman-owned firm, because that's not the case. So we do know of instances in the past. I haven't been aware of one recently, but where a non-minority or non-woman actually was running the business, but they had a minority or a woman listed as the owner or the CEO, but that person really didn't know anything about the business or what was going on. And I'll just give a personal example. It's not related to Hillsborough County, but a few years ago, I worked for Dun & Bradstreet Corporation as a business analyst, and we would call businesses in an effort to update their Dun & Bradstreet file and their DUNS number. In this particular conversation, I called a business, and I spoke to the owner, which was a female, and I asked her some business-related questions, and she quite flatly told me, she said, "I don't know any of that." She said, "My husband runs a business. My name is just listed as the CEO, so we can say we're a woman-owned business." And she said it with a straight face. And so I said, that's not in my role, my current role. That was in a previous role, but still the point being that does happen.
Right.
So we want to make sure that if we're certifying a business as a minority or woman-owned business, they in fact are owned, and that person who says they're the owner knows how to run a business. They're not just sitting there for somebody else.
Right.
So that is part of our process and why those steps are in there. And our processing time on average, 3 to 4 weeks, a little closer to 3 weeks, but 3 to 4 weeks it takes. It's really not that long. And one of the things that we've done to help shorten that, about 3 months ago, we started an on-site certification process. So where we will have a meeting, we invite businesses that are not certified with us who want to become certified. We invite them to attend, bring their laptop with them. We have internet access, and we go online and we help them start the application, and we walk them through the initial part of it. We're not going to finish it in that hour or hour and a half, but we get them through most of it, and it significantly cuts down the time of their certification. So We're trying to be responsive. We're trying to meet people where they are and help them get to where they need to be or where they want to be or where they're trying to be. So we're just not sitting down in the county building and say, here we are, come to us, or here's a bunch of paperwork, fill it out and we'll get back with you. We're trying to meet people where they are and help them get to where they're trying and need to get to.
Right. And that's greatly appreciated too. And sharing that story, it's so funny that she actually said it. I guess she didn't either know better, just didn't care. But the fact that she said it, it's just like, yeah, I'm just doing this for the sake of my husband. But I actually had someone reach out to me for my first business. I have the small minority owned business certification. And I remember maybe about a year and a half ago, I had somebody reach out to me pretty much trying to, I would say, just I guess kind of pay me under the table to be the face for them to be able to qualify for a grant that they were trying to get under, a minority owned business certification. But I had to turn it down because I'm thinking, like, as a Black man in business, there's been so many different opportunities I missed out on because I feel like because of being Black, I'm not gonna, to me, sell out and take a little money and then give your company, which you're not a real minority owned company, the opportunity to take advantage of a grant that should be going to another, brother or sister who really is a legitimate minority owned business. So it's a lot of funny business going on out there in terms of people trying to take advantage of something that's meant, for us. And I feel like hopefully I appreciate you guys doing the due diligence to make sure that that doesn't happen, because it's already a reason why we have these certifications out there, in terms of not getting the opportunity for a lot of grants and funding and et cetera. So I definitely appreciate what you guys are doing in the county. And I'm sure there's a lot of other small and minority owned business owners who appreciate it as well.
Well, thank you, sir. So we are very sincere about that. When we certify a company as a minority and woman owned, they are in fact minority and woman owned. There is no cost for our certification. There may be some businesses or individuals that charge a fee, and that's fine. That's the nature of free enterprise. And a business owner may decide to choose and go with one of them and pay that cost. That's their decision.
Right.
But as relates to our respective certification and the process, there is no cost. There is significant value in it. Not only does a business become notified and aware of opportunities on the county's contracts, but we get calls sometimes for businesses saying, hey, I'm looking for a minority that can provide this type of service. Who do you guys recommend? Well, we don't recommend, but we can say you can go to our directory. We have an online directory of all the businesses that are certified with us, and we'll direct them to that. And they can go on there and look at it, find a business that provides those goods or services, contact them directly. About 6 months ago, I had a contractor call me. They're looking at building next year a hotel, and they want to maximize use of minority businesses. So I helped direct him to our website of that online directory, and he said he's going to use that when they get to that point. We also have special outreach events. We've got trainings. We have networking events. So we try to make sure that we're being a good resource, a good partner for those businesses. And again, this is all at no cost.
Right. Yeah, I love it. That's powerful. Now, do you guys do you collaborate in terms of some of the networking events and some of the events that you have to help people find out more about the services that you offer? Do you collaborate with the Small Business Development Center as well in terms of some of the services that they offer and what you guys offer?
Yeah, thank you. That's a good point, Andre. So the County Small Business Development Center, which is housed at the Entrepreneur Collaborative Center in Ybor City, they are a tremendous partner. They offer that next level that we're not able to do, that those consulting services, those one-on-ones, which is also at no cost to the businesses. So we partner with them. They attend events with us. We attend events with them. And if we're aware of any business that has a specific need, whatever it may be, they want to look at their cash flow. They have some need for marketing assistance. They just need some guidance or some feedback. We refer them to our Small Business Development Center. Carol Miner and her team, they do a great job of making themselves available to businesses. And just, again, our focus is trying to be of assistance to these businesses and helping them win and where we can. Now, we may not know everything, but collectively, we know a lot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's a lot. I'm so I'm grateful for having this opportunity to speak with you, because I know there's a lot of people who know nothing about the certifications, who know nothing about the Small Business Development Center, who are trying to start from scratch on their own with no guidance, no mentor, no consulting, no coaching, no anything. So I'm gonna definitely do my part to put this information out there and share it with as many business owners and entrepreneurs, especially those who are just getting started with their journey, because I feel like the services that you guys and what the SB DC offers is, it's enough, more than enough, to lay the foundation to get, someone started on the right path in terms of, growing and scaling their businesses. Now, with that, let's get into the CEO experience. I see that you guys are a sponsor for that event. Can you kind of share what it is about Mr. Ware or the CEO experience, and how you guys made the decision to partner with them in terms of the event they have coming up on, I believe, next Friday, September 22nd?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So we see the value in partnering with the CEO experience, not only by virtue of the relationship and connection to Mr. Andre Ware, who's just a ball of energy and a dynamic dresser. And if anybody knows him and attends those CEO experience events, you know what I mean by being a dynamic dresser.
Right.
But he is a key center of influence in the community.
Right.
And so what we try to do is, we can't be everywhere, but we try to be at the best and most important and relevant places that we can be.
Right.
We feel that that's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to be where the people are. We want to be where the businesses are, and where the people and the businesses connect.
Mm.
And this is one of those great events and opportunities for that. It's a great information sharing event. People do business with people.
Right.
And so you have to take the time to understand and get to know the people and the person, but they also have to take the time to get to know you as well.
Right.
This is a great format for that. It's a kind of a what I would call a business relaxed environment.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody there is there for business in a professional nature, but it's relaxed.
Right.
There's no pressure, there's no stress. There's a great feeling there. There's a great level of need and understanding and information sharing. There is no "it's all about me."
Right.
I can't tell you the number of times I've attended and people shared information with me that was of benefit to me.
Absolutely.
And they knew that. So it wasn't like they were holding information saying, "I'm not going to share it because you might get some out of it more than me."
Right.
That's why they shared it, because I might have gotten some out of it more than them, and vice versa.
Right.
So we all share, because collectively, as they say, the rising tide lifts all ships.
Mm.
If we can help the next person, and then that person help another person, it's all in a circle of life, as they say. It's going to come back around at some point in time. But everyone who attends is not necessarily doing it because they want it to come back to them. They're just pouring into someone else.
Right. I tell you, I love the fact that you said that, the last one was my very first one, and I was extremely impressed. And what I love the most is that every single speaker that hit that stage says something in the light of what you just said about, it's bigger than me, it's more about we. And the fact that they poured in as much information as they could into the audience and into the crowd, that's something I love to see, because I know there's a lot of people who do have the ability to do that don't, because of, like you said, they want to hold all the information and hoard it for themselves. But I love seeing people who are open and freewheeling with the information and willing to share to help to see other people grow. And that's extremely powerful and extremely impactful. And I think that's what I really truly love and admire about the CEO experience. And every person that Mr. Ware brings into the CEO experience, I feel like has like literally shared, from that perspective. And they were clearly, I feel like they were open and they were transparent, and they really wanted to see everybody win. I think that's something powerful. And it kind of, it leads me to the next question I was going to ask, in terms of the value that you guys are bringing to the CEO experience. But I think you kind of answered it without me even having to ask the question. So for that, let me ask you, how, with you in the role that you play with the certification process and the community and the county, like, how did you get into that, and what was your why to be a facilitator and an influencer and helping people in the community to grow and scale their businesses?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm going to try to give a short answer. So, my family on the grandparent side owned businesses. They own service businesses. One owned a service station. The other one was a barber. A couple of them were barbers, and then trades. And so I had an exposure early on in my life to the value of businesses. Not only the value of a business to that immediate family, but to the community. So people that work there and even the business owners, in this case, my respective family members, were able to earn an income. Now they're able to spend that money in the community. So they're going to the corner store. They're going for other services in the community. They're giving money and contributing to their churches, to the daycare centers, to the hair salons, and so you got that economic multiplier that is impacting the community. So I had some exposure to that early on in life. I do believe in connecting with the community, and in my introduction at the last meeting, I said hello family because I truly believe that. We are from the same diaspora. We may come from different parts of the country, different parts of the world. We may be different colors, different hues. Some of us lighter or darker than others, but we're all in the same diaspora. So we're family. So my parents always taught me the value of respecting and treating your family the way that you would want your family to treat you. So some of that is greeting, and some of them is sharing. Some of that is associated with sharing information and wanting them to do and to be better, and helping them do and be better. And so that is the core of who I am. Is I just try to pour into other people because people have poured into me, and people continue to pour into me. So it would be selfish of me to just keep that to myself. And I see the value and need in our community, other communities as well, but I want to be specific a little bit here, in our community for some uplifting. And part of that uplifting comes by economic development and helping people who are in business so that they can elevate their business. They can number one, keep the employees that they have, but then they may be able to add other employees. So now you've got that additional economic multiplier effect in our respective communities of dollars being available to be spent in our community and with each other. So that was a long answer. I'm sorry, Andre. I said I was going to give you a short answer, but that was kind of a long answer. But that's what I bring to who I am and trying to make sure in this position I'm doing the best that I can.
No, I love it. And I know time is wrapping up. I got one last question for you because I do consulting with my business as well. And one of the things, I had a conversation with someone a couple of days ago, and I was telling them about the CEO experience, and they felt like because they don't have a business yet and they aspire to have one, they didn't really see why they should go. Can you kind of share for me, with the listeners, why an event like this is of value for even people who haven't started a business yet, but who want to and who are aspiring to start a business, what the value they can get out of an event like this?
Yeah, so the value is twofold. So one, they may run into someone and meet somebody who is doing something similar to what they're thinking about doing, who may be able to give them some insight, give them some bits and words of encouragement. Also, it's such a positive environment. In this world, there's so much negative, much less if you turn on the television. There's so much negativity that we see and we hear every day. Sometimes there's value just to get a fresh perspective.
Right.
And go into an environment and meet with a group of people who are positive, who are uplifting, and who will be encouraging. So one of the things that I found, I've previously owned a couple of businesses, is that when I talk to my friends and family members, they're going to give me a certain answer. They're going to say certain things to me, right?
Yeah.
But if I go and I talk to someone who is in the business, who has some experience, and who has some vested interest in me being some bit successful, and me being able to make an educated decision based on good information, they're going to share that with me. And so they're going to give me a different answer and a different perspective than family and friends.
Right.
And so there's value in that also. And so, again, it's some positive energy, some good information, letting them know where some resources are, like our office, like the Small Business Development Center you mentioned, and some of the other business sponsors and partners who will be there. And so that's a lot of it is also is just making sure you have a good team and connectedness to a good team who's going to be able to pour into you information wise and support wise and encouragement and things that as the business owner we all need. Because when you're a business owner, especially you're the owner and the CEO, it's like an island unto yourself. You have team members, you have employees, but it's not the same because they're not making the same decisions you're making or you're going to have to make.
Right.
So when you get amongst like-minded people, there's significant value in that. Somebody's on your left holding your left arm up. Somebody's on your right holding your right arm up. Somebody's behind you. They're encouraging you. That's what that whole environment is about.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate it. Birds of a feather flock together, and you won't see crows flying with eagles, man. So that's
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
that's real. Well, I'll tell you what, Mr. Jones, it's been an honor and a pleasure. I know time has run out on us, but I definitely appreciate you taking the time to chop it up and to share this information with us. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week, and I'm looking forward to the event, and looking forward to hopefully maybe doing something like this again, because it definitely was a wealth of information. I know a lot of people can benefit from this. So thank you for your time, and I definitely appreciate you joining me.
Oh, thank you, Andre. I appreciate it. And you continue to be a blessing to others as well.
I appreciate you. Thank you, man. You have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too. We'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. All right.
All
Thank y'all,
right.
ladies and gentlemen. It's been another episode of the Prolific Perspective Podcast. We'll see you next week. Please like, share, and subscribe. We out. Peace. Have a good one.
All right. Thank you. You too, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, bro. Hey, can I get a copy of that, or how does that work?
Yeah. Let me see. Let me stop recording.